I've made billions of dollars of failures at Amazon.com. Literally, billions of dollars of failures.
It's easy to have ideas. It's very hard to turn an idea into a successful product.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day.
جف بزوس مدیر عامل شرکت آمازون و مرد ثروتمندی که توانست رکورد ایلان ماسک را در ثروت بزند. جف بزوس در سال 1964 در ایالات متحده آمریکا به دنیا آمد. او از همان ابتدا عاشق کامپیوتر بود و در دانشگاه در رشته‌های علوم کامپیوتر و مهندسی الکترونیک تحصیل کرد. سال 1994 بود و جف بزوس 30 سال داشت. او مثل بسیاری از رهبران کنونی دنیای دیجیتال پتانسیل نامحدود اینترنت را در بهترین زمان ممکن درک کرد و آن را بنیان کسب و کار خود قرار داد. او دفتر کار کوچکی را در گاراژ خانه‌اش برپا کرد. در ابتدا فقط چند کارمند داشت. آنها کار روی نرم افزار سایت را شروع کردند و در 30 روز اول رشد عجیبی داشتند و بعد آمازون به یکی از بزرگترین شرکت‌های خرید و فروش کالا در جهان تبدیل شد. حالا مدیر عامل این شرکت بزرگ یعنی جف بزوس می‌خواهد برای شما از 5 قانون موفقیتش بگوید. برای ادامه ویدیو فراموش نکنید که ویدیوی ما رو لایک کنید.
We know from our past experiences that big things start small. The biggest oak starts from an acorn, and you've got to recognize, if you want to do anything new, you've got to be willing to let that acorn grow into a little sapling and then finally into a small tree, and maybe one day it'll be a big business on its own. I think one of the things that's very important to note about stress is that stress primarily comes from not taking action over something that you can have some control over. So stress comes from ignoring things that you shouldn't be ignoring, I think in large part. So stress doesn't come, people get stress wrong all the time, in my opinion. Stress doesn't come from hard work, for example. You can be working incredibly hard and loving it. And likewise, you can be out of work and incredibly stressed over that. I don't really remember the exact day or anything, but when I was in college is when I started thinking about wanting to be an entrepreneur someday. So I was not the kid with the lemonade stand. I wasn't one of these kids who was always trying to raise money. I always wanted to be a scientist when I was little, but I'd also always loved computers. I was lucky because at my age this is unusual to have access to a mainframe computer from my elementary school when I was in 4th grade, and quickly learned that there was a pre-programmed Star Trek game on that computer, and then I never did anything except play Star Trek with the computer. So I don't know how formative that was. It certainly helped my Star Trek knowledge considerably. But I've always loved computers. Somewhere in college I started watching some of the people who were like setting up, college pizza delivery services and the kind of the core entrepreneurs, and thinking, this looks like a really fun thing to do.
I think it's the very rare idea that can be done by a single individual. Almost everything that is going to change the world, solve a problem, improve something, these are usually big efforts, and they require a team working together to really get something important done. And that has been the story of Amazon.com. At every step along the way, we've had a team here that is making this work. I mean, I don't know, even at the smallest scale, you have to figure out how to get help from your friends, from your family members, from people that you can hire in those early days. I think without that, it would never work.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day. So I guess another thing that I would recommend to people is that they always take a long-term point of view. And I think this is something about which there's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of people, and I'm just not one of them, believe that you should live for the now. I think what you do is you think about the great expanse of time ahead of you and try to make sure that you're planning for that in a way that's going to leave you ultimately satisfied. So this is just this is the way it works for me. And I mean, everybody needs to find that for themselves. So I think there are a lot of paths to satisfaction, and you need to find one that works for you.